everybody. Welcome back once again to the RetroGameFix.com Retro Jones podcast number 93. This is your host, Mitch.
And this is Mike.
Where this week we come to you with a sad Jordan face on our Vikings helmets.
Sad Jordan, man. We got sad Jordaned. It doesn't... It's weird. It doesn't.
That always makes me feel better, though.
It does. It's weird. It doesn't feel good, and then all of a sudden you're like, dang, we got sad Jordaned, and somehow you're like, yeah, the rest of the world knows that wasn't supposed to happen, but it did.
Oh, my God. It was hilarious. I mean, that's the one thing that can always make me laugh, even if I'm like super frustrated and pissed off from the game. But, we were due for a sad Jordaning.
Yeah, we got sad Jordan. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, you don't need to know. But if you do know what we're talking about as far as getting sad Jordaned, you are in the same boat as Mitch and I. And go
look on our Twitter page if you don't know what it is.
What a day. What a day.
Indeed. There are some good points, though, and we'll talk about them later. But we have some big news this week.
Oh,
Mike,
we got big news. But if you want to go check out the story behind Sad Jordan at our Twitter account, let me tell you how to get there. Twitter.com, YouTube.com, Facebook.com/RetroGameFix. Questions at RetroGameFix.com is the email, and you can always call us 678-995-5103. That is a voicemail. You can just fart into the microphone. We do not care.
We'll play it.
We would play that if you did that. By the way, Mitch, I actually have a giveaway this week.
Really? I did not know this. This is news to me.
It is news to you.
Can I have it, whatever it is?
No. Here's the thing. So I bought an Xbox One S. I got a bunch of free codes for stuff, including Minecraft and Xbox One, or Gears of War 1, 2, 3, and Gears of War Judgment for the Xbox 360. Backwards compatible. Those codes will work on the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One. If you want to be entered to win those 4 codes, you will get all 4 games. Gears of War 1, 2, 3, and Judgment. Leave us a review on iTunes and put your Twitter handle in there or some other identification so we can get a hold of you. And if you win, you will get all 4 codes. And I will also tweet that out after the podcast happens. Unfortunately, iTunes reviews still help out the show, even though I hate iTunes. But yeah, we'll give you 4 games for free for leaving us a review. And just make sure to put your Twitter handle in the review, and then we can identify you if you win and get those codes over to you.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent. Well, so the big I totally forgot to bump it over to you for the contact information. So nice, smooth thing there. By the way,
Bigly.
Yeah, bigly. As far as, yeah, exactly. That's a new word. I love it.
You can just make shit up.
I love it. I do that every day of my life.
By the way, Mitch, just in case, I promise Twitter we will make no Nintendo Switch puns. So we will not. Yeah, there's not.
Why did you do a stupid thing like that? I was going to lead off on that.
Yeah, we cannot do any Switch puns. We can't.
You said that you wouldn't do it.
Well, I wouldn't do it. Well, no, so there is a caveat. We can certainly do the Adrian Peterson jokes.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, but those are jokes. But we're not going to be like, hey, let's switch topics, because that's kind of the smartest guy.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
No, that's stupid. I thought you meant like the good ones.
No. We can certainly make Switch jokes, but yeah, I don't want to do any of the things where every podcast makes the same joke that they're like, that was a good segue. Should I say we can switch topics, Mitch? Hoi hoi. Like, no, fuck that. We're not doing that. That's not how
my brain doesn't work like that.
We don't roll on the RetroGameFix.com podcast. Retro Jones, modeled after Casey Jones.
Thank you for that.
We don't roll like that. So we will not make any puns, I promise, internet, but we can certainly make jokes about the name.
True that. So anyway, speaking of which, I guess you kind of already moved into that territory there. The big news out of this week is
the Nintendo Switch, man. They They sent out an email Wednesday night to people on the email list that said, tune in tomorrow at 7 a.m. PT for the Nintendo reveal. I don't know if they mentioned the name Switch at the time. And so at that point, it meant, Thursday, October 20th, they were going to reveal what at the time we knew was the Nintendo NX, and they did just that. And it was awesome. So you watched the trailer after I sent it to you.
I did, because this is how it went. You like sent me I don't even remember what I was doing. I think it was on Monday. It
would have been on Thursday or Friday, because that's what it would have been on Thursday.
Oh yeah. Whatever day it was. Anyways, I got the text message from you, and I'm like driving, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll check that out. You're like, hey, look up look up Switch or something like that on Google, and I was like, okay, well, I'll do that later. So like, I completely forgot, and of course, Mike is like looking at it, probably like looking at his phone after he texted or something, like smiling, like looking at his phone, and then there's like crickets that go by for like hours, and then you send me another text. This is how it played out in my mind, at least. And then you're like, it's the new Nintendo system, look it up. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. So anyway.
Yeah. Oh, real quick. By the way, I apologize for the first like 5 minutes. So I had my headphones on, Mitch, and I didn't realize that I had my studio speakers on.
Oh, okay.
And so there might be a little redundancy there. I can try to clean it up, but we're 5 minutes in, and most of the time when we're BSing, it doesn't really matter. So
yeah, I don't want to go back and do it again.
We're totally not doing it again. I just want to apologize if there's a little mess on the audio. I don't think there is, but just in case, that's what happened.
Right on.
So did you hear anything?
If
you didn't hear anything, then no one else will either. All right. So yeah. So I send that to you, and you're like, oh, yeah, Nintendo Switch. When I first sent that to you, I thought, like, right out of the gate, I was like, Mitch is going to think I'm screwing with him.
Yeah, oh, well, yeah, I guess inherently that's always my first, always my first thought.
And in fairness, I actually don't really mess with you that often anymore on stuff like this, but, like...
I haven't even noticed, to be honest.
But historically, I am a big bullshitter when it comes to stuff like this.
Oh my God, you're the biggest troll I've ever met in my life.
I am a trollfessional. I actually, I've got a bachelor's in trolling. But anyway, so you go and watch it, and we knew a lot about the Nintendo NX, now known as the Nintendo Switch. And your first thoughts were, Adrian Peterson is the most excited mofo ever.
That was literally my first thought. I'm like, oh my God, Adrian Peterson's going to shit when he hears about this.
He's like, yeah. So I was like, that's the funniest thing ever. So I tweeted out.
Crickets.
No one thinks it's funny except me and you.
I think it's hilarious, dude. Of course, Adrian Peterson. The thing is with Adrian, like, he's going to get the custom model from Nintendo that has like two sticks that you like click into the screen instead of like the little control pad things or whatever. Like, instead of that, they're going to be like big sticks that he like clicks into them.
Yeah,
so,
I don't want to make fun of. Obviously, child abuse is nothing.
Oh no. We both have kids, and like, I would kill anybody that ever tried to touch my kid, like, as far as like abuse my kid. That would never ever happen in my in my household or yours. So.
Right. But here's the thing. We're making fun of Adrian Peterson. So here's how I imagine the Adrian Peterson Nintendo Switch console goes.
It'd probably be purple and gold.
It'd be purple and gold, but here's the thing. Those detachable controllers are just hand grips that he puts in, snaps them motherfuckers in, and he's got the biggest Switch in the world. He's got like 87 of those like Nintendo game pads just linked together, and I just like imagine him just swinging them over his head, riding a camel. He's just on his camel. Remember that camel?
How could I forget?
Effing Adrian Peterson. What a douchebag.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, the stupid dogs decided to like bust in here, so I'm like kicking them out as you're giving that.
Yeah, no. So anyway, Adrian Peterson. That's the funny part. As Minnesota Vikings fans, we're both like, Adrian Peterson, we've had enough.
No, we've had enough of him for a while now. So it's not. It doesn't have anything. Well, no, it has kind of everything to do with that whole scenario.
It has everything to do with that. Like, what a dick.
Yeah, and then he tried to blame it on the Vikings. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, good Adrian Peterson joke. Apparently, nobody got it or cared. I thought it was hilarious. You thought it was hilarious. So now. That's all that matters as far as I'm concerned. The Nintendo Switch. Adrian Peterson's ears perked up when he heard about this, clearly. So, and so did mine. Yep. Not for the same reasons, obviously.
Yeah, no. But so anyway, the Nintendo Switch. Here's the thing. So the rumors are true. It's a, I'm saying all the time. I'm going to stop saying
Exactly.
Here's the thing. So the rumors are true. It's a console handheld hybrid. We knew that was coming. We talked about it at length, many podcasts.
And, so was every other podcast, for sure.
Yeah, it was on Reddit. It was all over the place. And it's come true. And this is what I want. I want this. I want it right now.
Because looking back, we had a lot of speculation as far as like what this thing was, and at one time we were like, "Is it like VR? Is that the gimmick? Is it this? Is that?" No, this looks cool. This totally like, yeah. This looks like something I want to.
Right on. So let me fill people in here. So the trailer starts out, and some guy sitting on his couch. I'm not going to make the joke about. It's funny because
it's Peterson. Just say it.
No. I'm actually not going to make that joke. So there's a joke going around the internet about like a bunch of millennials in apartments they can't afford playing the Nintendo Switch. And like, ha 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 ha. It's funny. It's also fucking marketing. Get over it. So anyway, the first thing that actually jumped out at me about the marketing for the Nintendo Switch is, regardless of it being millennials sitting in apartments they can't afford, for the first time in a long time, it was very modern and adult-oriented to the fact that they weren't like, hey, this is for your kids or this is for the parent to buy for your kids. Right? So right out of the gate, I was like, this is a Nintendo console marketing to its what everybody complained about the Wii U. Everybody complained the Wii U was marketed towards kids and dumb parents. Mm-hmm. So this time around, they've now marketed it straight at the 30, 35, 40-year-old gamer that wants to play Nintendo games. So I was like, right on. Here we go. So guy in his living room, I'm not sure about the millennial or how much his rent is. I could not tell you how much this man's rent is, but he's playing Zelda, and some point he decides he's sick of playing Zelda on his TV. Mm-hmm. He undocks what they are calling Joy-Cons, which I assume means joystick controllers, from what looks like a little like docking peripheral that turns it into like a manageable controller.
Right.
Snaps those into the tablet that's docked on his TV, picks that tablet up, hits a switch, and boom, he's walking downstairs to get himself a sandwich, maybe go take a poop. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't care. I want that.
Probably both things.
I want that.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Like I want that. Like the minute
it's such a like duh idea, but like nobody's ever done it before.
The minute that happened, I was like, I want that. Why not me? Why not me?
It will be you.
I know, but that. So to actually be serious for a moment here, I saw that and I went, you think about that and you go, this guy just got off his couch. And if this works as the trailer is kind of alluding to, mm-hmm. You can be playing the game. You can get off the couch. You can dock your controllers into this tablet, essentially get a handheld that you pick up and go, whether that's to bed, whether that's to the toilet, whether that's in a different room, whether that's somebody, saying, hey, I want to watch the TV right now. Can you go play that somewhere else? You're like, oh yeah, I'm going to stay on the couch, but I'm going to play this on the handheld instead. Like, I want that.
Yeah, no kidding. That's just such an. I mean, the games are going to be solid. It's Nintendo. So, like, the gimmick is kind of what it's all about as far as that goes, and it's a good one. It's totally useful. Like, it's not some BS that you're never going to use.
I feel the same way. So anyway, after that, they fired through a few different scenarios, people in the airport, and what it looked like was you could kind of ad hoc connect these tablets together to do multiplayer. I hope that's the case. That would be awesome. You got a Switch, I got a Switch, and then we can, bring your Switch over and we can play games together. Whether that's Mario Kart or whatever it might be, that might be fun.
That's cool.
Excuse me. They showed the kickstand. If you're on a plane, great example. But like, I could find tons of uses for the kickstand. You don't want to hold that. You don't want to hold the tablet up above you, or you don't want to hold it on the couch and someone wants to watch the TV and you're like, boom, I'm going to keep these controllers docked, but I'm just going to undock the tablet and set it on the, on the coffee table. Like, that seems really cool to me. There's been discussion about the fact that you can take the two controllers and actually, instead of making them one controller, they are actually two controllers, and two people can use those and play games. Like, yeah, they're small, but at the same time, I'm like, at least you can do it. Like, everything about this system just seems awesome to me.
Right.
And so let me ask you this, Mitch.
Yeah.
If this was another PS4 or another Xbox One instead of what it is, would you be excited?
No, absolutely not. No. But
being what it is, you got to be excited for what this thing is.
I am.
That's my point. That's always been my point this whole time. We don't need another PS4. We don't need another Xbox. And we've got this system coming out, Nintendo. They're doing different things, and it's the coolest thing ever, and I want it right now.
So when is this slated for release again? Like, theoretically?
Theoretically, they still dated March 2017.
Okay. That's not that. Really, that'll be here before we know it.
It will. I'm not sure if they'll. Only time will tell if they hit that date. But the other part that I kind of hit on with this is the fact that this is a mid-generation release cycle.
Right.
They're marketing to adults, and I'm not doing the I'm a grown-ass man thing here. I'm just saying they're marketing to adults, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's always funny, and I'll just be blunt, I always am. Here's the thing. Everybody's like, where's the third-party support? Is it going to have Madden? Is it going to have Call of Duty? Is it going to have all of this? I talked about this in the Serial at Night earlier. I can completely understand that having a third-party AAA option game might sway some users to purchase that game on the Switch instead of their other platform. But at the end of the day, I don't think it moves the needle. And part of me just looks at this thing and goes, if you're a 30-something adult
yep,
that enjoys video games as a hobby, A, how many systems do you really need that play the same games? And B, if this is your hobby, you can probably buy multiple systems. And if you can't, I understand there's people that can't, then you need to make a decision based on what makes sense for your life, like every fucking other thing in your life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't get a Ferrari mixed with a Suburban mixed with a semi. You got to pick something.
Right.
And I'm not, you know what I mean? And it's everybody wants everything to be everything to them. And unfortunately, that's not how it works. And I'm not doing life lesson things here, but Nintendo is making a product that hasn't been solved for yet that I sit here and go, I need it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right on.
What about you? Do you want it right now, Mitch?
I could probably wait a little longer than right now, but that's the thing. Again, it is such a cool idea, and it's such a it seems like it kind of, there was a system that kind of did somewhat similar things before. Remember with the Vita and the PlayStation 3. But it wasn't this. It wasn't quite like this, because especially with the Vita and PS3, it wasn't as streamlined as this. Obviously, it really wasn't the same thing. I don't even know why I'm saying that. But
well, it was close though, because when the Vita launched, it was supposed to be the companion console for the PlayStation, right?
Which I like that idea. It's a cool gimmick, right?
Yeah, and you can stream to it, and then the PlayStation 4 came out, and then the power of the Vita couldn't hold up. Mm-hmm. And then the Wii U was out, and that was like, hey, play your Wii U games on and off screen. But that didn't go so well, even though I love my Wii U. But this kind of makes good on a lot of the things that the Wii U didn't do. I'm curious, what is your thought about the fact that this is most likely, they say it's a console first, but all things considered, the tablet is the primary hardware. So
right.
Obviously it's not going to be as powerful, probably even as the current PS4 or Xbox.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, and so for people that are like, so let me say this. There's so many times that I hear graphics don't matter, we want good games. And then sometimes those same people, they'll complain about the fact that the Nintendo hardware isn't up to par with the rest of the hardware. I mean, with Nintendo, I just don't feel like it needs to be. You know what I mean?
Well, I like both things, to be honest. I really do. Like, I obviously good games and good graphics have always been a thing that like I've always like marveled over. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be an upgrade from. Is it an upgrade hardware wise from the Wii U?
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, there you go. It's an upgrade. It's a Nintendo console upgrade. That's all you need. They can do. We've talked about this at length too, and I think we'd kind of talked about the mid-console release with Nintendo and saying I don't even remember what we said, but my thoughts on it right now, I might be contradicting my past self, and I don't care.
Yeah, let me jump in, because when we had talked about it before, we had said, when has this ever worked? And for me, I just to kind of finish that thought, I just want to say, for people talking about midlife release cycles, I sit here and go, you know what I just bought mid-cycle? I just bought an Xbox One S. I'm going to buy a PlayStation 4 Pro. You know what else I'm going to buy? I'm going to buy a Nintendo Switch. And I feel like as a mid-cycle release, for those people that aren't going to upgrade their current consoles, there's 70 million PlayStation 4s and Xbox Ones out there. And so for those people that are like, I'm good, I've got my Call of Duties, I have my Maddens, but I've got another $300 laying around. This might be a good option for them. And what we said was, this never works. I think this might be the one time that it actually works.
Yeah, I had a feeling that's probably about what we said, and I kind of don't really agree with my past self in whatever episode that was. I feel like a mid-console release is where they need to be. They can't. It's not. They're not competition for Xbox and PlayStation. And I mean that with all due respect. They're Nintendo. They can do that stuff. They really do make good consoles, and it's not something where you're going to choose. I feel like you're not going to. I know we've talked about at length, and I'm kind of repeating ourselves here, but it's not, do I go buy a PlayStation or an Xbox or a Nintendo Switch? It's like, do I buy a PlayStation and an Xbox, and then I'm also going to buy a Switch? It's like that seems more along the lines of pretty much the way it is, or the way it will be.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, do we need, like, and I said it on the Serial at Night I did earlier, but I was kind of alluding to the fact that right now, we now have the Wii U in market. We've got the Vita in market, which is no longer supported technically. We've got the 3DS. We've got the Xbox One. We've got the PlayStation 4. We've got the PlayStation VR. We've got the PC. Like, and specifically the PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Like, how many other consoles do you need to play the same games?
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, well, you're right. I see exactly. I totally understand what you're saying as far as that goes. But like, yeah, I don't play my 3DS because there's Call of Duty or some shit like that on there. I play it because it's Nintendo games. I wouldn't, if there was a Call of Duty on there, why would I buy that for my 3DS? And there probably is, but I I don't ever intend on buying it.
Yeah.
Or playing it, but who cares, you know?
Yeah, and I guess my bigger point is, like, if they can port those games to the Nintendo Switch with minimal effort, fine. There's certainly going to be people that buy it, but like at the end of the day, would I buy Madden on the Switch because I can take it on the go versus having the best version that look, when you're playing Call of Duty, when you're playing Battlefield, when you're playing Madden, when you're playing Titanfall, the big point of those games is the fact that there's an online community that you can play with. Taking it on the go is not the point, right? It's competitive multiplayer. That's not what the Nintendo Switch is about, unless you're talking about maybe Splatoon or Smash Brothers or something else. And so when I hear people saying, I want AAA, it needs third-party support. I'm not sure it needs AAA games, right?
Well, AAA is in being not... I mean, Nintendo has AAA games, but I know what you're saying, like big studio efforts, like, big third-party studio effort, AAA titles.
Exactly, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, man. At the end of the day, like, I went out and took like $300 in $1 bills out of the ATM and just kept re-watching that trailer and then just kept throwing dollar bills at the screen. Yeah. And
I believe that. Except,
it just kept giving me the same trailer, and I was like, damn.
So is that what the rumored price point's going to be?
Well, I don't know. What do you think? What would you, assuming you would jump in day one, what would you want for a price? Because I said I would pay $400, but I don't think Nintendo's going to be able to get away with anything higher than $299.
No, because I think, again, it's kind of going to be a different thing. I would say $300 is probably a good price point.
$300. I think it's got to come in at $300. I'll be honest. I'll pay $500 for it. I want it.
I won't, but you'll do it for both of us.
Yeah. But yeah. So what if? Rumored this thing's going to hit with a new Zelda and a new 3D Mario based on what that trailer said. That's big. We haven't had a new 3D Mario or a new 3D Zelda. Since Skyward Sword or since Galaxy. Mm-hmm. So, is
that right though?
Yeah, Galaxy 2. Yeah, there was Nintendo Super Mario 3D World, but that wasn't like technically a 3D platformer,
right? So,
that will sell systems. I don't know, man. I'm trying to curb my enthusiasm, but call me a fanboy, but man, I want this thing.
It sounds awesome. How can you go wrong with a launch title that's a Zelda and a Mario? And they're always good. Nintendo takes care of their franchises. We've said that a billion times as well. So that is pretty exciting, actually. I don't know. I want one. I think it looks awesome. Like I said, AP wants one. I want one.
Shit, AP's gonna. How many kids does AP have?
Probably like 15. I don't know. He's probably gonna get like 15 of them. He could honestly, with the game checks he's collecting on injured reserve right now, he could probably every single week he could probably buy like 10,000.
He's also got those game checks that he collected for not playing that one season.
Oh yeah, unless he spent it on a camel or whatever.
He's also got the child support that he needs to pay for 9 kids.
Yeah, at least 9 that we know about.
Yeah, that we know about. Man, he might. Yeah, Adrian Peterson, man, he could have went.
He's like the Wilt Chamberlain of our time.
Yeah, you know what else he is?
What? That's exactly it. Well spoken.
Keeping it classy on the Retro Jones podcast. That's what we do.
Yes, absolutely. So
anyway, I think we've probably talked out the Nintendo NX.
Yeah.
Maybe in a way a little bit more facetious than we probably should have. I just think that just to wrap,
you get it. We're excited about it.
Just to wrap it up. Yeah, we're excited about it. If you want a more serious take, go listen to the Serial at Night that I did earlier. I took some tweets, but certainly excited about it. But I mean, it's a 4-minute trailer. I'm not going to get into all the super deep speculation and details.
Like if there were like secrets or like Easter eggs or some shit in
Yeah,
there. Like,
I ain't got time for that. I'm sitting here. I tweeted it out. We're sitting here, 2 dudes, mid-30s. We're sitting here in our boxers, drinking beers, talking about video games. I'm just not going to overanalyze a 4-minute trailer. So anyway, we've got a lot. You've got a lot going on, man. You were teasing me earlier. We were talking earlier in the week about some of the pinball stuff and some other arcade stuff you might have going on, and you were like, I've got a few.
I got big news.
You were like, I got some leads. I've got some news. I got some pinballs I'm chasing down. Man, fill me in, because this you alluded to it earlier, and I was like, shit, Mitch was not telling me something earlier today that now he has something to say.
Yes, absolutely. And we had talked about, just to kind of lead into this as well, we had kind of briefly talked about last time. You had commented on the Broken Token podcast how they had like 3 Ghostbusters LEs, and I had said, I'm kind of on the fence now on whether I want to spend $5,000 on a Ghostbusters LE or 5,500 or however much. I could get one for $5. But, I'm on the fence if I want to spend that much money on a pinball machine, because the problem is you're going to take the immediate depreciation on that. I've already seen them. I've seen several pop up here that were used that people have only had for a couple months, that they're selling for like 47 or something like that. And, just like, you've had it for 2 months and you're getting rid of it. I don't know if that, I kind of want to fill it out here before I invest that kind of money into it. I'm not really that stoked about it anymore. Like, they took so long to get the second batches out with fixed play fields. I just don't care anymore. So
is that common? I mean, I have never been kind of in the pinball market per se. Is that common though? If a brand new pinball comes out, I mean, what do you see as far as the depreciation hit? I mean, is $500, $600, $700, $1,000 an immediate all the time, or is this something that maybe is exclusive to Ghostbusters based on the fact that they have the kind of the wonky play fields on the early builds?
Well, that sucks for those people. I think Stern's actually sending them new play fields. But then again, if you get those new play fields, I mean, repopulating a brand new play field is like probably like 30 hours at least of labor that you have to do yourself. And that sucks. And if you don't do it, then you're majorly depreciated if you have the first play fields with the ghosting problems. But no, I mean, in general, they're hit or miss. Like, I think of this, and I kind of laughed about it on Pinside, which I'm always on Pinside every single day, like 30 times a day. But there was a posting, and I hate to laugh at somebody else's misfortunes, but it's kind of funny, where somebody's like, someone broke into our warehouse, and one of my clients or customers or something like that, they stole a Stern NASCAR new in box, like NASCAR pinball.
Yep.
And then everybody was just saying these like snarky ass funny jokes afterwards, like, you probably end up putting it right back once they realize what it is. Like, basically, like, the guy like took it. Some people do that as an investment. They'll like take new in box pinballs, which that's not me. First of all, I don't have that. I want to play it, but like, they stored it away, in a temperature controlled place, and we're like, wow, NASCAR, this is going to be huge. And look, like, a NASCAR is like $2,500 now, and a new in box one, like, nobody wants a NASCAR in the first place, and nobody wants a new in-box NASCAR, but, they lose value a lot of times. Like, Striker Extreme was Stern's first one. I couldn't even tell you what the price was. It's probably comparable, but, I mean, they go for like $1,500. So if they're duds, yeah, man, you lose a lot of value, Yeah, I mean, so anyway. So I don't want to Ghostbusters right now. I'm going to wait it out, and in a year or maybe 2, if one comes along, I'll probably snag one. I doubt that I'm going to be paying over what I would, what even I could buy one new for now.
Yeah, it feels like that market might hold level until some of those first gens kind of either get fixed, or move through the system. Like, it just doesn't seem like there's going to be a huge demand right now because of that early kind of kerfuffle with the playfields. And then, I mean, at the end of the day, Ghostbusters is cool, but the
I don't need the new. I don't need the new in-box experience.
Yeah, well, and the excitement around the brand has kind of died a little bit, and I understand that it's the classic brand, not the new thing. But I mean, with that. With the fact that the movie's over, the brand has died down a little bit right now, combined with the fact that the playfield kerfuffle, you're like, I've got some time to decide if I want one. And I would imagine at the end of the day, if you find somebody that maybe even takes advantage of can you get the playfield? Like, if I'm someone that bought the pinball, early, first gen, can I get the playfield and not install it?
Yeah, I think it's a warranty issue from Stern. You have a 1-year warranty on your machine. So
being a guy that knows how to fix it, you might be able to come across somebody who was like, hey, I bought this pinball. It's got the bullshit playfield. I took the warranty exchange, so I have this other playfield. You might be able to get a brand new playfield and one at a discount and just do the work yourself,
Maybe it's possible. So let me transition here.
Sure.
into where I'm going. So, I'm off the wagon as far as like, I could get an Indiana Jones, I could get a Ghostbusters. I don't care. You know what? I like what I like, and I know what I like, and I would rather have more of what I like than just one of like something where I'm like, I paid a lot of money for this. I like it now because I have to. Even if it's a good game, you still have that little bit of you that's like, I like it because I have to, right? And so what do I like? What's my favorite pinball? You tell me.
Terminator 2.
Oh no, Terminator 2 is awesome. Okay, touche. What's another one that's one of my favorites?
High Speed.
Not really. You know this. You're gonna kick yourself when you.
Damn it, Mitch. Pinbot.
Of course, Pinbot.
Okay. I thought it was a trick question where you were throwing me something.
Oh
yeah,
no,
Pinbot. Absolutely, Pinbot is amazing.
Okay, and I used to own a Pinbot too, and one of the biggest regrets I ever had was selling my Pinbot just on a whim, like 4 or 5 years ago. I ended up getting like $1,100 for it, and I was stoked for getting that much at the time. But now, prices of pinballs have gone so high, and it's impossible to find the ones that you want half the time. So here I am. This last week, just looking at Craigslist, because on my phone, at least, if you like switch areas with Craigslist, it doesn't stick you there every time you go to Craigslist, like if it would on like a PC or whatever. So I'm like looking around. I come across a certain section of like town, city in South Carolina, and dude's like has these ridiculous prices on his pinballs. Like he's got like an AC/DC LE for like $14,500, and I'm like, oh my god, you got to be kidding me! And he has like a Flash Gordon with like a brand new playfield, everything's re-stenciled and all that stuff's beautiful. I'm assuming for like $4,500. I'm like, man, these are like stupid money. Like not stupid money, Look, they're probably worth it to the right people, but like these are like Mr. Moneybags pinballs, they're not like collector pinball. They're not for like collectors like myself. But anyways, further down the list, he has like coming soon, like Star Trek Next Generation and Pinbot and something and something and something. So I text this guy and I'm like, okay, I got to know, what do you want for the Star Trek or the Pinbot? And he's like, well, when I'm done with them, when I shops them out and does everything, $1,500 for the Pinbot and like over $5,000 for Star Trek. And I was like, well, the Star Trek one, I don't want to pay $5,000 for it. But the Pinbot I'm interested in. So I kept in contact with this guy, and he finally got me some pictures today while I was on a walk with my son. And, it looks like a Pinbot, and it plays completely. It's dirty, but you know what? I don't care. I don't mind putting a little elbow grease into it. So he's like, well, $1,500. It'll take me 2 weeks to go through it and all that stuff. And I'm like, do you have like an as-is price? Because as long as I don't have to mess with like board level work on this kind of stuff, I'm just so slow at it. As long as I don't have to do that and it's just shopping it out like properly, I do that. I love it.
Well, right. And some of this, I mean, I would imagine, in your position, some of this you would probably actually rather do it yourself instead of him doing something and then
I would.
You buying it and being like, I would have done it, slightly differently. Whether it's right or wrong, I think isn't the conversation. But I think for you, you might be like, I would have did it this way in order to make it mine and in order to do it to the spec that I expect it to be completed in.
Well, yeah, you're actually 100% right, because when somebody quote unquote shops something out, like shops a pinball out, you don't know what level they do. They might just slap some wax on that play field and scrub it around a little bit, get it all over stuff and not get it all off of the stuff. So that's actually what this Pinbot looks like right now. Some of the posts have like wax already, like in the, but I'm not saying that this guy would be that quality. I'm sure it's quality, but we came to a price. So I'll get to the point here. We came to a price as it is right now. It works 100%. There's some bulbs out. Who gives a crap? That's a couple bucks. A box of those. And if I have to take everything off the play field and properly shop it out and wax it like I did my Earthshaker, I'm cool with that. He has a brand new like vortex ramp where the vortex is when you do the skill shot. It's always broken at the top, but he's got a brand new one with decals and stuff like that he's including for $1,200.
So Mitch, I need to jump in because I want to ask a question for people that listen to this podcast that maybe don't know about pinballs. When you're shopping out a playfield, and I'm asking this because I probably want to buy a Pinbot or a high speed at some point.
Okay.
When you're shopping this thing out, can you like just remove parts at a time and clean it up, or do you need to like literally remove everything, clean up the playfield, and then put everything back in?
Oh, you totally can do either. Like, it depends on who you ask as far as proper etiquette. In my Whirlwind, I did that. I took part by part apart. And my Earthshaker, I took everything off and waxed it like 3 times. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I'm cool with it either way. Okay. I think.
I just wanted to ask because you've been talking about these things for a long time, and then once I get you get me excited about
it's subjective. Yeah, it's subjective.
And then I'm kind of like, well, what would I need to do if I come across one of these things? And I know there's always multiple ways to take care of these things, but I just didn't know if like you had to do it one way or you had to do it another.
No, it's completely subjective. It depends on the individual. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I want to do a good job. I want to make sure that, it really makes a huge difference. Like if I had a before and after picture of my Earthshaker, oh man, that thing was grungy as hell, but now it looks immaculate. It looks amazing. So doing it properly really makes a big difference. So anyway, so I'm saving $300 just by doing it myself. And that's awesome. Like, look, there's a lot that I can use that $300 for as far as this goes. If I wanted to re-stencil the cabinet is actually in better condition than the original Pinbot that I had before, believe it or not. So, I don't need them to touch that up. And, so $1,200, I'm like, oh my God, I don't feel as stupid now. Like when I sold my other one like 5 years ago, I sold it for $1,100. And for the time, it was a lot of money. But I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have a hard time paying like $2,000 for a freaking Pinbot now, So I'm stoked. I'm excited. I'm like, this made me come to the realization too, once this became like a thing, like a possibility, that all I wanted was a Pinbot this entire time. Like I'm done after I get my Pinbot, I'm done for a while, like at that point I'll have the Roller Coaster Tycoon, Whirlwind, Earthshaker, Pinbot, Flash Gordon, the Baby Pac-Man, and the Twinwin. That's like a assload of pins. Like I'm okay with that, and if something awesome comes in the meantime that is kind of can't miss, I'll buy that too. But now I'm like, all I wanted was a Pinbot. I haven't been this stupidly excited about anything.
Yeah, it's funny because like part of me is actually like stupidly kicking myself. I don't know if you remember a couple years back, Pinbot, like Pinbot is like my mom's favorite pinball of all time.
Yep, I remember.
Yeah, and I got my tax return, and there was a Pinbot for like $900 or $1,100. I was like, I'm gonna buy my mom this Pinbot.
Yep.
I didn't.
Nope.
And like I should have.
It's so awesome.
I'm
it's
like,
such
God
a good.
Damn it! Like I want a Pinbot. Like if you were to say, Mike, you're going to go buy a pinball machine. What's it going to be? It's going to be a Pinbot. It's, and for me, it's mostly based on the fact that, like, there was a Nintendo game, and then was Nintendo Pinbot or Bride of Pinbot? Or did they have both?
No, it was Pinbot. It was regular Pinbot.
Yeah, it was Pinbot.
They had High Speed and Pinbot.
Yeah, and I was like, I like High Speed because I'm a car guy, but, like, like I said, I sat up just watching my mom play Pinbot, and I was like, fuck, she is good at Pinbot. I want to get her a Pinbot. And, like, to this day, I'm like, I need to own a Pinbot. Like it's an end game thing. As you get older, there are certain boxes you want to check in your life. Mm-hmm. And regardless of what other people feel about them, you go, I want to get this, I want to do this, I want to travel here. One of my end game things is I want to own a Pinbot.
Yep.
Or I at least want to buy my mom a Pinbot.
Right, so then you can go over and play it.
Yeah, and I should have done it when I found one for $900 or whatever it was, and I didn't do it. And so
that's such an awesome price.
Yeah, well, it was, and like now the fact that you can get one, in a good condition, man, you got to do it.
Oh man, I'm so excited. And the thing is too, I could have probably talked him down lower, but I'm not that kind of guy. Like, it's worth what I'm paying. It's more than worth what I'm paying for it. He knows that. I know that. That's fine. I'm not gonna, but I do have to drive. It's a 2.5 hour drive, but I don't care.
Once you hit that fair price, like, part of it is like the drive is just kind of like, is there any opportunity cost in the drive? No, you're just gonna sit. It is what it is. Gas, whatever.
Look, it's a 5 hour round trip. I would do a 5 hour one way trip and then 5 hours back if that were the case. I've been looking for one of these for so damn long. It seems like that I'm never going to let this one go, for sure. This one is going to be just awesome. So, I always say Williams System 11 pins, which were this era of pinballs. There was System 11, 11A, 11B, 11C. I've owned a lot of them in my days as a collector. It's my favorite era. And look, are there better eras? Oh, absolutely. Williams, the WPC era with like Funhouse and like Tales of the Arabian Nights, Medieval Madness, all that stuff. That's way better area. But my favorite era is the System 11s. And System 11s are still reasonable. I say reasonable, more reasonable than spending $5,000 a machine on the WPC stuff. So get what you got, or get what you like, and get a lot of what you like. That's kind of my philosophy right now. Now I need to dump some stuff off. But I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. Well, you can tell how stupidly excited I am for this. Like, I got my 3 System 11 pins. I got the Whirlwind, Earthshaker, and Pinbot at that point. And I don't have to get rid of the Flash Gordon either, because that was a consideration if I was going to get the Ghostbusters. I like Flash Gordon. It's hard as shit, and my average game is probably like 30 seconds total. But, like, it's an awesome pinball machine, and now I have more. This is it. I don't need any more than this unless something awesome comes along. I'm good. So
let me ask you. This is the kind of collection that I think I have the answer on your arcades.
Uh-huh.
But, if you move, I feel like you need to keep the pinballs, man. Like, I feel like pinballs kind of are one of those collections that transcend just getting rid of them because you move, right? What are your thoughts there? Because, like, man, that's a
good question.
The only reason I say that is because pinballs, either mechanically or I'm going to use the wrong terminology, but everything they have going on, it always feels like they're just better than a general arcade machine, and I don't want to get ripped on for that. But
no, I don't think anybody would argue that.
You see where I'm going with that, and I just feel like you've got this collection, man. And if you move wherever you move, I feel like you need to keep that pinball collection with you, right? And I and I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No. I think it's a great question. I can tell you this: Twin Win will be easy to let go. It's a cool game, and it looks awesome now. I could let that go. And Baby Pac-Man, I'm actively probably shopping that thing within the next month, or trying to get rid of it within the next month or so, because I just want stuff in my arcade that's fun to play. And all that money, I'll just throw it in a CD or some crap like that and keep rolling it over. It's like if I need if I want to have extra money, I just want my collection now. I think I'm back up to 19 again. Remember when I was trying to downsize? From
yeah, we counted them out the other podcast.
I started at 19 like several months ago, and now I'm back to 19 again once I get that Pinbot. So I'm like, I don't know. I really need to get rid of some crap that I just don't care about. But Roller Coaster Tycoon, I don't think the wife's going to let me get rid of that one. I mean, she could break the high. I looked up, I think I told you about that last podcast, but she broke the, her high score is higher than the world record right now.
So Roller Coaster Tycoon is the one with the troll in it, right?
Yeah, that's the one with the treasure troll.
Have you ever thought about replacing the troll with a picture? With
a Ninja Turtle.
Well, no, with a picture of me.
Now I have. I think it's good. That would be great, dude. Or Crying Jordan.
Crying Jordan would be funny, too. I mean, that's a one spot where actually you could probably do some fun stuff with that.
But yeah, Roller Coaster Tycoon's probably coming with me. Pinbot's coming with me, I can tell you for sure. Earthshaker, I love the game. Whirlwind, amazing game, but like I don't have that connection to him. Me and my wife at least don't have that connection to the other game. And Flash Gordon, I could get rid of that too. I don't have the emotional connection that I do to like Pinbot and her with Roller Coaster Tycoon. That's a game that I never even get a chance to play that because she's always playing it. So I just don't play it. So I know it's a good game because I played it a little bit, but now I'm just like, I don't even bother. There's no way I'm getting my high score up on the high score list anyways. So, but yeah, that's a good question, man. I'd probably take a couple. It probably, Pinbot, I already know is going with me if I move. And Roller Coaster Tycoon, I don't have a choice in the matter. So
yeah, if I could, I would have played Kiss's Man-Sized Predicament.
Oh yeah, it's not even a man-sized predicament, I don't think. But anyway, so yeah, that's my big news, and I'm sure it's bigger news for me than it is anybody else. But I've been talking about this for years on our podcast about how I miss my freaking Pinbot, and I have literally how many years have we been doing this now?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, we're 94, 93 of these in, so I don't know, hit and miss, 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. Yeah,
3 years.
Yeah, wow,
going on
man.
4 years.
Yeah,
3 years going on 4.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I've been talking about this entire time, and I've never once seen a Pinbot come up. So I'm excited.
They are few and far between, man.
Now they are. It seems like somebody had mentioned this too. Out of all the System 11 games, for some reason, Pinbot always seems to get parted out the most, according to someone. There's no statistics behind it, but. Poor Pinbot. It's such an awesome game. You ask anybody about that era, like what their favorite game is, it's either Whirlwind or Pinbot, period. So I don't know. And then I have both of them. So anyway, you'll have to come down someday. Now it's hard to do it with a kid, but
yeah, I'll be able to make it work. Yeah, I mean, she's once she gets a little bit older, we can. There's going to be some flexibility there. So you mentioned earlier, before we started the cast, you had some thoughts on Sega Master System.
Yes.
Which is something that we are big. I think that we've got a lot of new listeners, so I think it's a good time to maybe recap where we started our Sega Master System, and then maybe
we started with the start of our show. I mean, shoot, we've been doing that for 3-4 years now.
Yeah, I mean that's where we started it. So I mean, if you want to give an elevator pitch to Sega Master System, and I don't know if it leads into what you were going to talk about, but I think now is a good time to introduce some of the new listeners.
Well, Sega Master System was, I guess, the quote-unquote rival to the NES, and we both ended up with both consoles back in the day, which we're very, very fortunate to have both. And it's just one of those consoles that we were like, at the beginning, we were like, what can we do on the podcast? Start collect, we want to collect an entire library from some particular console, and it was like Sega Master System. We have this emotional connection to it. We grew up with it. We love it, and it's reasonable, 115 games to be able to collect that entire.
I think it's 126.
Oh, well, I guess if you're going with the re-releases
and stuff, yeah, I think that's okay. Sorry.
Well, I don't know, somewhere around there. But anyways, so we've come a long ways on that, and we've collected almost, I mean, we're real close. We're just missing the blue Outrun. We both are missing the blue Outrun from our collections.
Yeah, that's it. And it's been fun. It's been kind of this crazy roller coaster. I mean, if you look back, man, we've had a lot of fun collecting all these games together. And whether it was, spending way more than we ever thought we would spend on Buster Douglas, or trying to get Aztec Warrior, Aerial Assault. I think you got for $17, and I had to pay $65. I mean,
I spent $300 on a UPC label for Sonic.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many things there trying to get this collection.
It's been a long journey, and it's been exciting sometimes, and it's been disappointing other times and stuff. Trying to find all these re-releases, especially, are just like impossible.
Yeah, certainly. So what do you have? I mean,
So, it occurred to me. This thought occurred to me. I was on eBay. I'm always, I used to check. I mean, this is like, there's definitely proof that there's something wrong with me, but I used to check eBay like 5-6 times a day, maybe more, 10 times a day. I don't even know. Sega Master System stuff. Every time anything interesting would come up or something I needed, I would snipe it. So like my Sega Master System searches have gone to are fewer and far between. I probably check it like once every other day now. And I came up with somebody had a Fantasy Zone re-release, the red re-release, which I don't have. And it was $28, and nobody was bidding on it. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm obligated. It took me a day or so before I'm finally like, all right, I'm obligated. I need to put a bid on this, even though I don't really care. And somebody sniped me for $1. And I let it go. I was like, thank God somebody sniped me. I really don't want that. So like, I came to this realization, this was today, that like, I think I'm played out on that one. If I come across a blue Outrun by some impossibility, like, awesome. But like, I don't need every variant. I mean, we've got the re-releases and all that stuff for the most part. I don't need the Sega for the 90s and all. Like, I don't necessarily need the red Fantasy Zone. I don't care, like, I think I finally, after all these years, I think my interest has kind of been waning. Yeah, I mean, I knew you've been there for a little bit longer.
Well, it comes and goes, and it's weird.
Yeah, it does.
It's weird because it's like, it's funny because it comes and goes with like what you're looking for. Like, I think I'm beyond actually really caring about like my collection, because I think I've come to the realization that like the only person that cares about the only person that cares about my collection is me, and the only person that cares about the only person that cares about my collection is me and you, and the only person that cares about your collection is me and you. Right. Yep. So, and that's why, I will still like check for Enduro Racer, or you'll check for Sonic UPCs and this and that. But like, it's, it hit me a while back, and I'm sure that we've talked about it on the podcast. I mean, there were days where I was just like, I don't care anymore. And it was a good run. It was a good run. I don't know if it was so much my frustration with collecting or my frustration with the fact that collecting has gotten so expensive, and so hard to do. And I part of me loves the fact that eBay exists, because it would have been impossible for us to get where we are with eBay. Yeah. Part of me also is starting to like kind of question the organic nature of eBay and collecting. I don't know. I don't want to speak one way or another, but yeah, I was there quite a while ago where it's become a chore, like to the point where I'm just like, please just show me a blue Outrun. I will pay $1,000. I mean, I gotta be God. I'm serious. Like if I see someone with a blue Outrun and it's $1,000, I'll be like, here's $1,000, and I'll fucking get it. And I'll be like, I'm done. And now I'm selling all of these. I got it. Exactly. Well, it was about the process. It was about the adventure and it was fun for a while. And now I'm kind of like, meh, I don't care anymore. Yeah.
I learned a lot. We learned a lot, and therefore our listeners learned a lot, especially in those earlier episodes and stuff like that. But and it was great, and we were passionate about it and all that stuff. But I'll tell you this: we got in while the getting was good.
Yeah, well, I mean, we really did. I mean, the fact that we both made it for a very, I mean, I haven't put a number on what we each spent on our collections, but I bet it would be fairly close, even though I started out 26 games ahead because of my great uncle or great grandpa's relationship with Tonka. But I think we probably ended up pretty close money-wise. I'm curious to see what that number is. And maybe we have to calculate that. But at the end of the day, man, we had a lot of fun. But like, I just hit a point where I was like, I don't know how much effort I can continuously give to find that one unicorn. Yeah,
I mean, I'll put some effort. It just seems like waning. Like, I'm not as excited about it, right? I'm excited about a lot of things, and that's just, you know, maybe at this point, maybe the time has passed where I care anymore. And I do love. I'll tell you this. I'm going down to my basement. I see my arcade and all that stuff, and then I see my Sega Master System collection. I still have like an amount of pride that kind of swells up when I see that. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm glad I have that. But, you know, am I okay with where I'm at right now? Definitely, you know? Yeah. And someday a Blue Outrun's just going to pop up. Someday two of them, the three of them are going to pop up. And that's just the way that stuff works. And until that time, I'm not going to worry about it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of that thing where, you know, of all of the games I own, the Master System collection is the one that, you know, I'm not going to get rid of. And so, you know, if I'm 50 and I get the Blue Outrun, I'm like, cool, I got it. But I'm not going to make an effort like anymore other than casual searches on eBay to try to track it down. So,
well, yeah, and that was my thought. That's what I alluded to earlier. Was I was just like, wow, things have changed, because before on that for $29, I was like, yeah, I would eat it. No doubt I would have done that, you know. But I was just relieved when somebody outbid me on it, like sniped me on it. I was like, thank God, you know. I don't really want it. You know, it's not like I can't do it but it's more like, I don't want to spend $28 or $29 on that right now. It's not something I really care about at the moment. So
yeah, it's like that. It's the one point where you just go, I let someone else take it, and
I literally did, because there was still minutes left on it, and I totally could have jumped back in there, but I was like, I'm gonna let it go.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, here's the thing. So we've got a couple options here.
Yeah, go ahead.
We talked Jersey Jack. We can either hit on that.
Okay. We at least have to mention it. We have
to talk that, but then we also alluded to talking some music. I'm okay going either direction, but I don't know if we have time for both.
It's true.
Which way do you want to go? I don't care either way. I feel like Jersey Jack is probably the way we should go.
I feel like it is too. Like, I feel like we need to mention it. I totally forgot last week. Yeah.
So, well, let's go there and we'll see what we have for time.
All right. Sounds good. So what we failed to mention last week is that it was finally revealed, the much anticipated Jersey Jack's third pinball machine.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Give some actual background about what Jersey Jack is.
Jersey Jack is, I guess, Stern is the big pinball manufacturer that's still alive nowadays. Williams went out of business at the end of the millennium, I guess, or something, or beginning, or 1999, whatever, in less fancy talk. So beyond then, Stern, who at one time was Sega, and then before that was Data East, was the remaining sole survivor, and they've come out with about 45 pinballs since then. So Jersey Jack, on the other hand, there are a handful of, I guess, Spooky Pinball, Jersey Jack. There are a handful of smaller manufacturers that are actually coming out with titles as well. Jersey Jack's first title was The Wizard of Oz, and what they did differently, I mean, it was spectacular. It's amazing. If I could afford one of those, I would totally buy one. But what they'd done is they had started putting like LED or LCD TVs in the back glass so that it was completely interactive with the game, which of course I think Stern is starting to do on some of their new machines as well. So Wizard of Oz, amazing, beautiful machine. It's amazing. And The Hobbit just came out this year, which was their second release. Now, there's been a much anticipated third release by Pat Lawler, who Pat Lawler was like, he's got to be my favorite designer of pinballs. And he was kind of a rock star back in the day. He's the guy that, 3 of my pinballs that I have right now were designed by Pat Lawler: Roller Coaster Tycoon, Earthshaker, and Whirlwind. He'd also designed the Addams Family, Twilight Zone, some of the best pinballs, most highly regarded pinballs out there. So anyways, Jersey Jack hired Pat Lawler to come up with an original title for their third pinball. And this is something we've talked about a little bit as well. Like, my God, please, Stern, anybody, come out with an original title. It's just like everything is licensed, like The Hobbit, the Wizard of Oz, Ghostbusters, like everything is a license. It's like playing it safe. It's like it felt like nobody has the balls to go out there and do something.
Right. Well, I mean, we talked about it before. I want a Pinbot, but it was like, if there's a Motley Crue pinball, I'm like, well, I'm going to buy it. I don't even really care how good it is. I'm going to buy it. You know what I mean? And it's like,
I understand. It makes smart business sense, because you're like, okay, if we release a Game of Thrones pinball, we're going to reach all those people that are Game of Thrones fans. Even if they're not pinball collectors, they might be Game of Thrones fans.
But it does nothing for the people that are pinball collectors or pinball enthusiasts. And, at the end of the day...
Well, I wouldn't say nothing, but
okay, well,
it does less.
Right. But without... at the end of the day, without, like... there's no more arcades in the market share that bar has for their pinballs. Like, you can put any pinball in a bar nowadays. It's gotta be a pretty cutthroat business at this point, which makes it,
well, you gotta make money to be able to make the next pin, and I appreciate that.
Right, but that's what makes this, what you're about to talk about, even more, of
course,
even more applaudable.
Yeah, of course. So a Pat Lawler game, especially, like, if you look at his resume as far as what pinball machines he's designed, it's like amazing, outstanding. This guy has defined, like, I feel like defined a large section of modern pinball. So anyway, so it was much anticipated. I can't remember what expo it was released at, like just last week. The title and everything was kept under wraps, but it is dialed in. It is called Dialed In. So the theme is dialed in. It's like phone related. And most people, look, I'm on like the GAPIS list here in Georgia Pinball Appreciation Society. Like, there were all these emails of these people who were pissed and like underwhelmed and all this. I look on Pinside and there's all these people that are just nagging because of the theme. Look, when has the theme ever determined? I mean, okay, that's maybe the wrong way to phrase this, but like, just because you don't like the theme doesn't mean you're not gonna like the pinball. Like Whirlwind, Earthshaker, Pinbot, not everybody likes those themes, but they're awesome pinball machines. Dialed In, it was just something where people were jumping to conclusions right away. Look, what was he supposed to call it? What was it supposed to be about? Like, I think it looked, from the start, when I looked at the video where they introduced it and like gameplay and all that stuff, it looks freaking awesome. And it does have something to do with like Bluetooth connectivity. So of course it's very gimmicky, like Pat Lawler's stuff is. And that's what I love about his pinball machines. There's some kind of gimmick with Bluetooth in it. I have no idea, honestly, what the functionality of that is or what it even has to do with anything. But I think that's awesome, isn't it? You've seen pictures of it, right, Mike?
I have, yeah. Actually, I want to jump in to a couple points you made earlier. Just because it's not a licensed machine, like you said, you have to make money, and licensed machines are kind of the safe way to go. But some of the best pinballs ever aren't licensed, right? And like the fact that this thing comes out and it's called Dialed In. People are like, well, what is Dialed In? What is Dialed In?
They're like, it's so 1990s.
Like, well, you know what it might be? It might be the greatest pinball ever if you fucking give it a chance. And I mean, I'm going to be a little more blunt about it. Like, I'm just sick of all of these pinball experts and enthusiasts and like get off the fucking high horse. And
It's with any hobby.
And just wait until you play the goddamn game, right? And you're talking about a game that's coming from one of the. I mean, you're talking
great pinball designers.
Great pinball designers of all time.
Pin-
I mean, if you want to compare, I'm sorry, I'm hollering. It irritates the shit out of me. If you're talking about video games, right, and you're like, well, I don't know, fucking. Now I'm drawing blanks on anything because I got all heated up. But I mean, if you're talking about, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, you know, I hear all these people whining about the theme. Oh my god, it looks dumb. Blah blah. It didn't look dumb to me at all. Like, I had no prejudgment on it. I was excited to see an original theme. That's what I've been bitching about for God knows how long at this point. There were 5 machines at this expo. All 5 of them were occupied at all times, the entire time. People were having fun playing this machine. So, like, yeah, get off your high horse. I mean, every single hobby, you got all these people. It's a by the way, hobby. Let me repeat that. You have all these people that take themselves way too seriously, and oh my god, it's like stick their nose up in the air. It's like, dude, it looks awesome to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's your loss.
So I just remembered. So it's like Metal Gear Solid and Kojima, right? He's no longer with Konami, but he's making a new game, and everybody's like, I can't wait for Kojima's new game. But nobody's pissed off because it's not called Metal Gear Solid. Because they're like, I want to fucking play it. I don't care what it is. Right? It's just like, it just bothers me, man. It's like, stop. If you're so good at designing pinballs, then go design one. Like the enthusiast market in the pinball area, or even this like high-end gaming market, just bothers me that everybody is smarter. I hate the smartest guy in the room bullshit. It just bothers me. And maybe I'm out of line. But damn it.
No, I don't think you're out of line.
I'm not out of line, and I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm just like, this is a legend. I feel like at some point you earn a little bit, like, a benefit of the doubt, and just say,
try it out first.
Like play it first, and if you don't like it, that's fine. I mean, you can not like a game.
The theme. Look, some of the greatest. Well, this is my mind went to some licensed ones like. Great pinballs like Johnny Mnemonic and Congo, which are shitty movies. Of course, the theme sucked, but like they're awesome pinball machines. Like, and that's just one example. But like, you're not always gonna like the theme on this stuff, but that doesn't mean that you're not gonna love the pinball machine, like, or the experience as a whole. I look. Here's my bottom line on this. I really, really, really want to play one. Am I ever gonna own one? No, and I'll tell you why.
I just checked the website, Mitch. You can pre-order $12,500.
That's the standard model is $9,500, and the LE version or the premium version is like $12,500.
Yes, it's $12,500.
I want to play somebody's at the next expo that I go to. Definitely want to play somebody's. Somebody else go ahead that's got a little bit more money than I do. Go ahead and spend $12,500 on it. I do. I hope you do, because I hope they. I got to applaud them, even though the price is fucking ridiculous. They had the nuts to do something like this. Good. And I hope you're financially rewarded for it. I do. And I don't really have much to say beyond that, but I felt like stupid about it last week. I felt like I should have at least mentioned it. And I think it looks cool. Dialed in. Check it out. Look up videos of it and tell me that doesn't look cool, because I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, well, you know what? I made the comparison to like cars earlier, and I certainly pinballs aren't that same thing, but like, there's Ferraris, there's Maseratis, there's Mercedes, there's BMWs, there's Toyotas, there's Hondas. And you can play it safe and just make the same thing over and over, which is something that Stern seems to continue to do. Hey, we're going to license this thing out. We know it's going to sell. We know it's going to hit a top list.
It's hit or miss too.
It is, but then all of a sudden, something like Jersey Jack comes along and says, you know what? We're going to make something different. We're going to make it great. It's going to be premium. You're going to have to pay a lot of money for this, and they're going to get it, and they deserve to get it. And though, it's not. It's going to cost a lot of money, and a lot of people aren't going to ever be able to play one. A lot of people aren't ever going to be able to own one. But at the end of the day, you know, that's luxury. That's luxury items, and like I'm just excited that these things actually exist, and that people are still making pinballs like this, where you go, there again, just more unicorns in the space where you go, man, what is that? I just want to play it one time.
Like that
excites me. Like that excites me to go like. Not that I'm ever going to own one, but if I ever come across one and I'm like, oh shit, that's a dialed in, I need to play that. Like
for sure. Like I'll put $1 in there, whatever, you know?
That's the kind of thing that excites me. And I think pinball is one of the few arcade machines, technically, that still evokes that in somebody, especially if you know the history, right? And that's super cool, man. And you don't get that a lot anymore, especially in this age of digital and everything else. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Pinballs are so cool, and it's just cool to see that there's somebody still out there going like, yeah, we're gonna build them. It's gonna be $13,000, $12,000, but if you got the money,
we're gonna give you what you've been asking for, which is an original idea, which hasn't been done. And I mean, I don't know if I would. I don't know. For the most part, it hasn't been done or done well in the last 16, 17 years. You know.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I think it's cool. I think it's cool. Good for them. And it's the price tag is outrageous, fucking outrageous. And you know what? If I win the lottery tomorrow, I will buy a dialed in for both of us and for one of our listeners. But for the moment, I will be happy to play one. I'll be happy to play somebody else's. So that's it.
I'm gonna go buy you some lottery tickets tomorrow.
Some tickets.
I'm gonna get them physical tickets.
Get them from the liquor store.
Nah, they don't sell them. Nah, you can't. Yeah, you can. I'm gonna go buy myself some liquor. Go get some physical lottery tickets. I'm gonna scratch them motherfuckers off.
Buy me a dialed in. Anyway, that was just some news. See, we pretty much paint the picture.
There was that awkward pause of like, do we delete that from the podcast or leave it in?
I don't know. We really paint the picture for you for sure. So anyway, what do you feel like, man? We've been going for like an hour 20 at this point, or somewhere around then. Do you wanna hit the other topic or no?
Nah, I think we can probably call it.
All right.
Unless you want to. I mean, I got some music conversation in me, but I think it's worth noting that most of the time when you and I do these podcasts, we replace a phone conversation with microphones and kind of just, have conversations.
I know. I love it. I want to do it. But I can't.
I can't either, man. Let's save it for a short week because. So here's the thing: if people are confused what we're talking about, every now and then, Mitch and I will do a kind of get to know us segment, and we ask each other a bunch of stupid questions.
And we're hilarious.
And we are some funny guys. But
totally.
Most of the time we end up talking about music because both of us are very passionate about music and some other funny stuff. And so this week we had some music topics to talk about, but I feel like that it would be like another 40 minutes because sometimes they go long and I don't know if we have time tonight. But right. I definitely want to hit on it. And if you've listened to any of the other segments, it's been anywhere from, hey, you're stuck in a casket with Vince Neil, but he's about to eat you. Do you let him eat
and
you?
Razzle.
Yeah, and Razzle. Yeah, there's some funny stuff, but this would have been, and then sometimes more serious stuff. And this was going to be probably a pretty good conversation about Megadeth versus Metallica. But I'm going to float that out there because we definitely need to hit it next week. Because I'm actually pretty hyped on the Megadeth train right now. And I definitely want to talk about it, but I actually got to be honest, I want to go re-listen to that record a couple more times because it's so good.
Absolutely. Cool, man. Well, yeah, let's do that next week. But yeah, I had a pretty good conversation in me for it too, and I will have that next week. But as it stands right now, we're going to wrap this sucker up. So for RetroGameFix.com, the Retro Jones podcast number 93, this is Mitch.
This is Mike.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Loco.